Welcome back to Duckman Cycles and VW Garage. I'm your host, the Duckman. We're back today, and, well, you notice it's been raining, and it's just absolutely been pouring, and it's been like that all day. And I've been feeling kind of under the weather today. I ate something a couple days ago, and I think it gave me some kind of food poisoning. I have just been a wreck. It hasn't been flying out of me, but I have a funny metabolism that way that, it doesn't come out of me. It just makes me feel like crap. And it feels like it's going to come out, but it doesn't. It's there. And it takes a couple days for it to go away, and then when it does, I feel better. But everything was aching at the same time. My entire body was hurting, and my head was killing me. So I just took a rest today. And then, of course, what happened? Waited for the rain to stop. Maybe I started to feel a little better, and it got dark. So much for that. But anyways, we got a box today that arrived, and we're going to go pop that thing open, and we're going to see if it's the parts that we've been waiting for. So, like, comment, subscribe. Please pluck that little dingle belly down there next to the subscribe button. That way you get updates every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to check out the duckshit.net link that you see up there in the corner, because that's my Patreon page. And I had just recently spent a lot of money on some photography equipment, trying to make my videos better for you guys. So I'm asking for any support that I can get, anything really. So if you want to hit up duckshit.net and throw me a bone once in a while, I really would appreciate it. Thanks so much, you guys, and let's roll that intro. Blah! Okay, we're back, and here's the box that I got today. Let's find out exactly what we've got in it. The same size box as we got last time, which, if you remember correctly, had the wrong carburetor filters, air filters, and linkages, and all that stuff that I'm going to put on the Type 3. Alright, we got paper, and we got... There we go, that's what we're supposed to be seeing. Low-profile air filters. Looks like there's our gaskets here, wrapped tightly in the plastic. This is good. We got a second low-profile air filter. Looks like there's our balance pipe, but that probably shouldn't have shipped with it, because I asked for it with no intake manifolds. More paper, got invoices and stuff, and it looks like all of the hardware here comes on a card instead of loose bags like it did in the other kit. It looks like everything is here. I'm seeing the little Heim joints. Well, that's for the intake manifold here. Now, on my Type 3, I looked at the intake manifolds that are currently on there, and currently I have FRD carburetors mounted, but they look exactly like the CB Performance ICT carburetor intake manifolds. Well, they have the dual bungs on either side, so you can plug the little balance pipe port into it. And that was quite a surprise to me. I really didn't expect to see those on there, but when I held the ICT manifolds next to the FRDs, I mean, they looked exactly the same, except the FRDs do have a different bolt pattern. I forget what the span of the bolts is on there, but it is different than the ICTs. The ICTs can be modified, however, to mount an FRD carburetor on there, but yes, I have Delorto FRD carburetors, and this is an ICT kit, but I did not need the intake manifolds because I currently have a set. But I'm going to have to go through this here and see if I can find some instruction manuals. There's a lot of little pieces of mounting hardware here that I don't know how to operate or use. Yeah, there's a lot of little things in here. There's, of course, the hex bar. There's the arms that connect to the carburetor. Here's the arm that connects to the throttle cable that actually attaches to the foot pedal. Here's the little ball joints that these hex bars will ride on. And this looks like the individual linkages for the carburetors on each side. I don't know how this stuff goes together, though, so it is going to be a little bit of a learning process here. I don't know if they gave me a good instruction manual. Nope, this is the invoice. With a shipping label. That's interesting. Really interesting. I wonder why they sent me another shipping label. I didn't need one. So we do have the instructions from the last kit, which was meant for a Beetle and not for a Type 3. I'm hoping that this stuff is the same. And if not, I do hope, of course, that the instruction manual can be found somewhere on the internet. And they might be a little bit different. I'm thinking the linkages are probably going to be about the same, though. Yeah, this is all stuff for Type 1, but I think most of the linkages are going to be the same. But the difference is from the Type 1 to the Type 3 is these little arms that are on here that you see are going to be shorter on a Type 3 because otherwise you can't close the engine lid. So this stuff all fits differently. That's the reason why I had to send the kit back to begin with. Because the intake manifolds are spaced differently, and this kit that goes together with holds all the hex bar together is straight on a Type 1. But on a Type 3 it actually is on a slightly cockeyed angle. Which is goofy, but that's just the way they manufacture it. I don't know why they didn't do a straight down. Because, well, you know what? It might be a straight down. I'm looking at the, where the hex linkage it connects, and actually it goes into here. The hex bar would go into this side, too. And, of course, your intake manifold are going to be offset like this. And I believe it's the driver's side, or left-hand side, here in the States, that's going to have to go forward, and then this one comes back a little bit. So this might actually be a straight bar across. I don't know how that's going to affect the linkages and how that stuff's going to attach. Now, I'd like to turn both the carburetors around so that way the linkages all face forwards. Currently, one of the carburetors is turned around backwards. The linkage is on the front on the right-hand side, the linkage is on the back on the left-hand side. And I have to get my arm around here like this to adjust the idle speed and the low-speed mixture screws. And it's not impossible, but it's about this close to impossible, especially for somebody with these kinds of mitts that I've got here. And the fact that I don't have two wrists. If I had two wrists, I'm sure I can get a 180-degree reach around, and everybody loves it when you get a 180-degree reach around, but you guys get the point. But, yeah, this looks like it's exactly what I was looking for. And this week we should be able to get it on. We're getting it on, giving 180-degree reach arounds. What a day, I'll tell you what. I'm still feeling sick. I tried to eat today for the first time in about a day and a half, and I'm not feeling well. And I started to feel a little better like right after I ate because obviously I needed to have something. And I have a tendency to get sick when I don't eat. And that might be part of what my headache problem was from lack of eating. But now that I am eating again, my stomach is no better nor worse than it was. I'm hoping that I might just go to the bathroom, take a big poop, and, you know, it'll all be over with it. Everything will be fine. But you know how the way that goes, right? Here's hoping. But they do say you wish in one hand, you get shit in the other. In this case, I want shit in one hand. That would certainly make my life a lot better. Anyways, let's go outside and have a look at Eleanore, because we need to get this video up to around a 10-minute mark, and this looks like it's going to be good for what we need to do. But we need to burn up a few more minutes of video, so let's go ahead and step outside. Alright, if you've been following the process on this, I had about 3 videos where I was modifying this rear hatch to fit in the back of the Eleanore behind the rear seat. And I still need to do some work to it. It's not too awfully far off from where it needs to be to get it mounted, but I've been replacing all the rusted out sections on this flange that's around here, and you can see it's all solid now the whole way around. There's no more holes in this thing, as this thing was incredibly pitted and missing just chunks of itself. And now that it's in one piece again without any see-through holes, it's got a lot of dirt on it. There was a lot of dirt on it. There we go, now it looks a whole lot better. Seeing as how I'm going to have to do a lot of grinding on it when I actually get it installed in the car, I guess I really don't need to worry too awfully bad about it. It is going to go in the rear, back under here, right under there. And let me turn on the low light mode. It always works a little better if I can get the low light mode on here. Let's see. Low lux on. There we go. And that rear hatch is going to go back here. And on the right-hand side, well, actually, it's technically the logical left-hand side, is where your starter and your clutch cable is at, as well as that 4th engine bolt, which is practically impossible to get to. Uh-oh. I don't know if you heard that rumble, but that was my guts. Okay, we're going to take a break, because this is something that I've really needed to get out of me. Oh, man. All I gotta say is there's lots to be said about having a really good poop, and I feel tremendously better. I mean, tremendously better. I'm not ready to run a marathon or anything like that. I mean, I still feel like it's gonna happen again. But the fact is that was a huge and enormous difference, and I feel lots better. So, getting back on subject. The other day I did some welding to show demonstrating how I attach 2 panels together, and that's gone over quite well. I mean, that video got a lot of views. And my midday Q&As usually don't get that many views, but that one really lit people off. People really wanted to learn how to join metal panels together. And I kind of did that with this, but I really didn't show the actual details of how I, buttoned everything together, stitch welded it, and cut it, and made it fit, and all the other stuff. But in the midday Q&A that I uploaded yesterday, I actually did demonstrate that with 2 sheet metal panels that I overlapped and ran clecos down. So if you haven't seen that video already, you probably want to go check it out, especially if you have any plans of restoring an old car. It doesn't have to be necessarily a Volkswagen, but any old car you're going to find yourself replacing metal panels on that are rusty. The clecos were something that I used a lot of, particularly here in the roof section, and a lot of them in the rear end back there underneath the back window. So this car did look like a porcupine for a little while, and once I got that straightened out, got everything welded back together, it's whole again. I had to make so many pieces for this car, so much of it. This front end is from a 69 and nothing was right, so I ended up cutting the window proportions down on the front here to make it look like a 1956 Beetle, even though it was actually a 69 frame. The window pillars here were normally about half the width, because 69 pillars are real skinny, but in order for me to make it look like a 56, I cut them this way. Geez, I cut all the way from down here, straight down the middle, and then cut around here and up through here, and moved the little heater duct over that way. And I added about, I don't know, maybe half an inch, 3/4 of an inch metal strip down through here, and welded that back together both on the outside and the inside. So this car... This car is truly unique. And one of the reasons why Eleanore looks so special and why she's going to be really hard to replicate, so many things on this car were made, and so much of it was made using my eyes. I didn't necessarily try to make it look exactly like a 1956 chopped, or rather I made a lot of adjustments to the contours and shapes of things to make this car look different. And one of the other things that I worked on yesterday, which I covered in a video, well, actually ran up around midnight, it was my tech video. I rolled out the Doodle Bastard tank mounts, and this is something I'm very proud of. That turned out really, really nice. I got 3 bolts, 3-bolt holes with grommets in it, and 3 bolts attached to the bottom of this tank. So now I can just drop them in place, and then run nuts up from the underside and get this thing bolted in. And some people were asking, and I answered this in a previous video, but they're still asking, where am I going to put the petcock? And actually there is no petcock. There's actually a spout that comes out on the back. And I'm going to put the petcock in line, because if I put it right there, I can't reach it. So I'm actually going to run it out and around and probably put the petcock right about here somewhere and then go into the carburetor. So that's going to make sense for me. I think that's about it. So please, as always, like, comment, subscribe, pluck that little dingle belly that you see down there next to the subscribe button. That way you get updates every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to join Duckman Cycles and VW Garage up on the Facebook group page. That's right. Join that group page. There'll be a discussion on all of my projects as well as any other projects that anybody wants to share. And as always, right up there in the corner, duckshit.net. That's my Patreon. Please throw me a bone. I spent a lot of money on new photography equipment to make videos better for you guys. And any help that I can get on that, I would be very, very appreciative. Very appreciative. I mean, that stuff was expensive. But anyway, we're going to try to get some better quality videos out this week once it stops raining. It's supposed to be raining for the next, 3 days, 2 or 3 days, and then maybe a break for 2 days, and then rain again for 3 days. And this rain has been relentless. It's been raining about a day and a half at this point, non-stop. Usually we get a break for a few hours or something, then it might start up again. This time it's non-stop. Everything has just been soaking wet outside. I take you out to go see the Fastback right now and show you where I'm going to put the carburetors and how to mount that, but it's just too wet out there. I'm just not going to step in all the mud in the backyard. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.